said afterward by Coach Sweeney. Have you guys had a chance to talk about it, work it out, and kind of mend those fences a little bit?
Not really. I mean, we both have jobs to do. Both continuing to invest in our programs, and that's my focus. And at the end of the day, that's what we're going to continue to do, and continue to build Florida State back to where we need it to be. So that's been our focus.
Coach, did that cancellation give you guys any extra motivation going into that battle towards the end of the season?
We don't. I mean, there's no need for extra motivation. We get the opportunity to play a game and to look back at even what this last year was. The last month of the season was one of the hardest months I've ever had to experience as a coach or as a player. There's so much investment that goes into playing a game. The off season, the work throughout the course of the week, and we had 3 of our last 4 games that were canceled, and it's something that I hope that we never have to experience, in my coaching career again. But you appreciate every day, you appreciate everything that you get to do, and that's what we're continuing to work towards.
If you see him today, would you say something? I mean, would you try and work it out a little bit, or
at the end of the day, there's really nothing to work out. Coaches can make statements. That's an opportunity that we all have. For me, I mean, it's everybody's entitled to an opinion of what they want to state, and I'm going to stay focused on what we're doing and what we're all about here at Florida State.
Coach, the Miami, I cover Miami, but the Miami FSU series, it was so disheartening to see you sit out that game last year. Just your thoughts on what it was like, even though I read all stuff sitting out, and then the game was just out of control kind of thing. What happened, and how do you feel about getting back this year?
I mean, that was one of the most challenging experiences I've ever had to have as well. To sit there and you have to watch your team on television, not being able to be a part of that process. It was something I hope I never have to experience again either. And when I came to Florida State, you come into a program that was one of the greatest tradition in all of college football, 2 of the greatest rivalries in all of college football with Florida and Miami, and to now be 18 months into it and still have never got a chance to coach in one of those games. I can tell you I am excited about this season and the opportunity that's in front of us, and but yeah, that was not fun.
Does that drive? Do you think that drives the guys a lot? A lot of the guys know each other, always have. We played ball together in high school and stuff. Does that drive them a little bit? It goes back and forth. Florida State wins 7 in a row or whatever, then Miami wins 4 in a row. Why is that, and how does it drive the guys?
I mean, football in the state of Florida is special, and the relationships, all the programs. It's these kids have relationships that they've grown up together, playing ball, competing. College football needs the state of Florida to have quality football from our institutions, and that's what we're aspiring to do. And I'm excited about being able to get out and compete in those games, and definitely our players are excited about that opportunity that's ahead of us.
I was curious about your relationship with me and obviously you guys all know each other as coaches circles. How often did you guys go ahead and cover the guys? What's the relationship kind of like today?
I don't believe we've ever competed against each other in our coaching careers. Kind of different places at different times, but Manny's a Florida State graduate, so we appreciate him for that, and he's, once again, we're all working on our programs to continue to develop to where we want it to be, and that's where it's at.
How was it last year, the way the season played out, the cancellations and everything? Slowed down, I guess, the process of trying to rebuild and put it back up, or did it slow down at all?
I mean, we're working through our process, and I know people point to last year and the challenges that we had to face, and I'm grateful for them. There were some tremendous highs. Having an opportunity to get a top 5 victory was special. There was plenty of lows, and an opportunity for us as a coaching staff and as players to show our response and the consistency that's necessary in showing up every day to continue to work and improve and get better. And I think we're able to develop trust. I think it was something that was necessary for us to go through. nobody wants to go through challenges. Nobody wants to face adversity. But I think it allows you to grow stronger. And our guys, they've done a great job working. They know we don't live in a fairy tale. There's going to be real life. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to have to get up. You're going to have to respond, to all situations that show up. And I think our guys embrace that. We're starting to embrace that at a higher level. And we've been able to bring in some newcomers into the program that within the locker room are able to share their experiences, to share their journey that have been productive players. But because coaches won't always be there. I don't get to step out on the field with them. But that confidence that's grown through those experiences, I think will definitely help us.
Coach, you mentioned that coaches not always being there. I want to ask you about Dan Manning, right? You've got a background with, you see Dan now at Georgia. Just kind of your thoughts on how he's grown as a coach and with this opportunity at Georgia.
Dan and I have a tremendous relationship and background together. He was a graduate assistant, when I was a young coach, and we kind of grew together. I was, excited about the opportunity. I get to hire him when I went to Memphis and worked together for a few years. But I knew Dan had an incredible future. He's extremely bright, great relationship guy. Has a wonderful family, Sophia and the boys, and we just I'm definitely rooting for him, and just grateful for the time that we got to have and the relationship that we have.
And then you got Jermaine Johnson, an outstanding player from Georgia. You mentioned some guys coming from different backgrounds, bringing things. Can you talk about what Jermaine's about?
Yeah, I'm really excited about Jermaine and, the player that he is, but the person that he is as well. And, when you have somebody that comes in that's only going to get to spend a year in your program, his approach and, yes, everybody wants the individual, success and opportunity, but, he's really embraced the chance to make a grander impact and to be a guy that can be a leader, to be a guy that can help set a standard and, be there when coaches aren't around to help these guys hit that expectation and that standard of what we're trying to accomplish. And so I think Jermaine's embraced that. We're pushing him hard every single day, and he definitely is thriving through that. I really did not. It was, it was somebody that when he got in the portal, I actually had a conversation with Coach Lanning with our relationship, and it was something that I thought he was the right fit, and it was something that I'm excited of what it's been able to be. It was great to get him there in January and to be able to see him start building those relationships and what that's meant for us over the last 6 months.
Jordan talked pretty candidly about a year ago. He gave at least some consideration to quitting football, I guess. I mean, how much have you seen his demeanor change in your year and a half you've been with him?
I mean, it's night and day, and the commitment that he's had in every area, on the field, academically, socially, just his continued growth and development. I mean, he's got a tremendous smile, and he's got a tremendous spirit, and you could see the joy that he has. And last year people don't realize. I mean, his first week of practice was the week of Georgia Tech, and I think he was available maybe 5 weeks of last year. That, I mean, we got more practice in in spring ball than probably what he had throughout the course of most of the season, and so to see him grow and develop and really come into his own, I mean, you see that confidence that he's building, and you're just grateful to. It was a joy for me to sit on the side and see him answer those questions. Just to hear that and the appreciation of the opportunity that he has, and he's a great leader for our team, tremendous young man, and he's going to make an incredible impact for us moving forward.
Coach, growing up in a time when Robbie Bowden and Florida State were at the height of the college football world, what do you remember most about growing up and watching Florida State on TV when they were really the inescapable name of the sport?
Yeah, I mean, you just passion. Relationship, the way that they played together, offense, defense, special teams. They played for something bigger than themselves. There was a standard of how they showed up each and every day and trying to be the best version of who they were and what they represented. And you see that now. You see that with these former players that have now gone on and making incredible impacts. We've had 3 NFL Men of the Year that have come through this program, and that's tremendous. But it's not just about who they were in the jersey number that they wore, it's the impact that they made, and that was the standard, that was the expectation from Coach Bowden and their staffs, and it came down to work and it came down to relationships, and that's why they were able to play to the level that they did, and that's what we're working to build here with our program.
Now, as a coach yourself in Tallahassee, being able to meet Coach Bowden, just how unsurprising almost is to know how they play now knowing that.
I shared a little earlier, one of the greatest experiences I've ever had was when Coach Bowden came up to the office early last spring, and to be able to sit down with him and just to have a one-on-one. And it was an incredible moment. But then we went down to the staff room and wanted him to get a chance to meet our staff. And as I opened the door and Coach Bowden walked in, I was able to see the faces of Ron Dugans and Odell Hagans. And when I saw their faces when their coach walked in, that told me everything I ever needed to know about Coach Bobby Bowden and just who he was, what he meant to them, and that's what I aspire to do one day, and the reaction that I aspire to have, hopefully with the players that I'm getting to coach. But it's definitely special and it's an all-time great.
When you look at
that was early. I don't remember the exact date, but it was early in last spring when I first got to there to Florida State. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I met with him at that point, and then we were able to do it was unique. We were also able to do a symposium together, like where we got to share the stage and talk a little bit, there at Florida State, and I mean it was a great experience as well.
when you look around your
I think this is a time of continuing to gather information, and we're in an age of reimagination of college football, and to be able to look at that at a full scope, not only with the potential expansion of playoff, but what that experience would be for our student athletes, for the traditions in college football, the things all that we have grown to love. We have to evaluate that, and it is. There's still a lot of things that need to go through that process, but I'm excited about being able to see and really truly think from both sides of it, of what that could mean, because the state of the experience for our student athletes, for our universities, for our teams, and for the game of college football in itself. I mean, it's special, and making sure that we're doing things to help continue to build that, not only for now, but for the future, I think is critical.
On the subject of reimagining college football, there's a lot of talk right now about Oklahoma and Texas leaving the Big 12 and going to the SEC. Do you have any thoughts as to how something like that can affect the ACC and any kind of movement that might bring about?
Really, I haven't put much thought into it. I think that there's constant changes that we see in college football. You look at even this year with NIL, the things that we've had to experience this last year with COVID. I mean, all the potential college playoff expansion. That's what also makes it special, is that you have the willingness to adapt, to adjust, to be progressive in your thinking of what you're trying to do and what you want to accomplish. I haven't put much thought in that specific example, but things are always changing.
Coach, when you look around your locker room, what kind of gives you the most confidence that this might be a better year than for you guys?
I mean, just the experiences that we have together, the work that we put in. To have confidence, everybody can tell you they have confidence. True confidence is built through the experience and through the work, and that's where it's not always something that goes your way. It's not always something that is fun to have to go through. But when you know that you can, and when you know that you can respond to a certain standard, it helps build you. It's one of as you look back over the last 12 months and what we've went through, it does give me a greater sense of confidence to the mindset of the young men I get to coach and to the standard of how we're working to operate on a daily basis.
What's the biggest effect you see of NIL having on recruiting moving forward? Or do you worry that it could kind of become an above the board, on the books bidding war in a lot of cases for the top recruits?
I think right now it is a new age of college athletics and how we operate. I'm excited to be at a place that's been very proactive in our thinking and providing education for our student athletes. I'm excited to be in a state that has been very proactive, in being able to set a standard of how we want to support our student athletes. And that's a great thing about being at Florida State, is that we have tremendous support, tremendous brand, tremendous exposure for the student athletes athletes that we have, that it provides a unique opportunity. And it's going to be fun to watch to see where it's going to go.
Do you have major concerns about maybe negative effects it could have on the recruiting aspect of it?
I think you always you're gonna have to kind of watch, see, and adapt to where this could go. And I don't want to speculate on what that might be, but I think it's going to be an experience that we're all going to continue to grow in.
Where it is now, it's a great opportunity. It's obviously private. I asked this coach Diaz yesterday, how do you make sure that this doesn't affect kids when it comes to what their job is and what they have to do, and it's not a jealousy involved and all that.
Well, I tell guys all the time that they are now their own business. And you've got to make the choices of what you want that business to represent, what you're willing to invest your time in building that. The ultimate goal is to be the best football player that you can possibly be, and to play as long as you can possibly play. To be a student athlete that not only gets a degree but also receives that education through the process, and then also the man that you're growing to be. And so everything that you invest in, how is that going to the end goal? There's the thing that I encourage our guys to do, to be objective. There's plenty of short-term things that you can do to get a quick reward, but is it ultimately going to what you're trying to build your business to be able to achieve? There's a lot of businesses in this world that go bankrupt when they don't make the proper choices of what it is to grow and build, and that's what we're trying to help educate our guys with, and also allow them to reap the benefits of what their brand is in the current state.
Hey, Mike, Mackenzie joked a little bit earlier today when I asked him about your guys' experience at UCF and then he said he's probably tired of talking about, what you guys went through. What was something that stuck in your mind when you saw Mackenzie's name in the transfer portal from your past experience dealing with him when you had that?
Just the competitor. It's we try not to talk about it because I won't let him talk about it because it didn't go my way very much against him. But he's just the ultimate competitor and a guy that you knew would always put his football team in a position to achieve success. And it's who he is. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to coach with him and to coach him. And it's exciting to see just that ownership he has in our program, and you're trying to go out there and make the most of his opportunity.
I want to ask too. You also had a relationship with Gus Malzahn and Tulsa. I want to ask, what do you remember of Gus and what Gus has been able to do?
Well, Gus and I still have a relationship that's great, and he provided me with an opportunity, and I'm forever grateful for him. You learn so much under him in those years at Tulsa, and I've stayed in touch throughout our years in coaching, and just a great man. Great coach, excited for the opportunity he has at UCF and what he's going to do with that program to continue to grow. But forever grateful for him, and we still talk. We talked, I think it was last week, just being able to be a sounding board together.
You guys talk about possibly playing each other? I mean, now that
we haven't got to that point in conversation yet.
They said they'll play in a parking lot.
There's a lot of individual things that you can look at to any potential change, but I think you got to look at it with a holistic approach, and making sure that as we get the research and the different options and possibilities of what that can mean, and you can find a positive in probably any situation for something that individually has happened to you, but is it what's best for college football? Is it what's best for the student athlete? And I think, as we talked about that reimagination of what college football is going to be, it's something that we do need to sit back and be able to collect the information, make sure that we're making the wisest choice for what the future of our sport is going to be. And, I'm excited about where that can go.
How important is it going into year two to gain this momentum this season and take that momentum and use it on the recruiting trail in 2022?
Well, I think momentum is something that can go a lot of different ways, and but for us, it's about establishing the foundation of who we are, the identity of what our program stands for, building upon those values, and that's what's going to sustain itself. And there's teams that have short-term success that that are not able to continue that, and we're looking to build our program the right way. We're looking to build our program through work, through relationships, and making sure that we're finding the right fits for Florida State, because we will get this program back to where it deserves to be. And when we get there, we're going to stay there because of the foundational elements and those values of who we are and what we're all about. And so I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about where we are, but also the steps that are ahead. And I'm not going to put any limits to what this team can accomplish, but I'm sure grateful for every experience that we get to be able to work through together.
You don't want to always have to rely heavily on the training this offseason going forward, but I guess how much have you been validated by how committed you were to it and the guys who've gotten out of it? I mean, you have two of them here, and you know a number of other guys that you've really been impressed by something out on campus.
It fit the opportunity of what we were looking for. When you have the youngest team in college football, a lot of our guys have not seen or been able to have those leaders in the locker room that of what it takes, of the consistency that's necessary. And we've had some great players that have come through, and we've got guys that have really had to figure things out through their own experience. But to be able to add to that competition, to be able to bring some of that veteran leadership in, some of the production that has come through the door, I'm excited about. But gelling those relationships, seeing those guys elevate each other, I mean that's what's going to be key in our development as a program as well.
You mentioned gelling relationships. It's a lot of new faces and a lot of new guys in the locker room. I guess how do you guys go about building that chemistry and rapport in such a short period of time?
Well, I mean, you go through the experience. You have to be able to make the investment. I was a new face a year ago, and just like we've talked about, being able to pour into our players for them to see the importance of who they are, the experiences that they have. It's the same thing for any new player that comes in, and that's why the standard of operations doesn't change based off of how long you've been in the program. The standard is the standard, and that's how we're going to push. That's how we're going to work together, and that's where you develop that continuity when guys go through those experiences together, and that's what's critical.
You mentioned Jermaine in that process. I wanted to ask you about that. Like when you first set foot on campus, how much of that mentorship did you see from him immediately?
Well, he understood the expectation, and that's something that I appreciated. Is that one of the first meetings that we had? He gathered the defensive line, and he talked about that this was not just about him. It was about us. It was about what we're trying to do, and his responsibility that he felt necessary to be able to pour into the guys that he lines up side by side with, and and he's had to live that out. And Jermaine's here today. I believe he's earned the opportunity. I'm extremely hard on Jermaine, and it is like he'll tell you that it's a daily challenge of how he gets pushed, because the standard that I expect him to have, just like the guys within our program. This is not something that just because you achieve in one area that the standard lessens. It is across the board, and with big shoes, becomes a big responsibility, and that's what he's stepping up to each and every day.
Coach, a couple weeks ago, you mentioned Robert Scott, just like how coach on the field, and how much he's helped him out. Kind of talk about Robert and
Robert was somebody that when I got to Florida State became a top priority for us, and we're so grateful to get him. Didn't realize that when he came through that he would end up starting. I think it was like 8 games last year, 7 or 8 games last year, and was a freshman All-American, and really had to learn on the run. And just the way that he approaches each day. You talk about relationship. He was from Conway High School, in Conway, Arkansas. I went to college in Conway, and so knowing people that have watched him grow up and just who he was, there was no doubt that he was a right fit for Florida State. And seeing that through the experience he had last year to what he's taken into the offseason, the confidence that he's walking with, the confidence that he has to be able to grab a guy like Rod and say, hey, these are the things that need to happen for you to have a chance to compete early. He had to learn that the hard way, and but excited about what his future is going to be and the steps that he's taken throughout the course of the last year.
Dylan Gibbons used his NIL platform to do something pretty special for somebody that's out in a pretty unfortunate situation. I mean, you're not going to comment on the NIL specifically, but can you talk about his character and what he brings to Florida State?
Service. And that's one of the key foundations of our program and the values that we have is being able to give of yourself to help impact for the benefit of others. And, I thought that was a remarkable act. And, there's a lot of people that, like I said earlier, whether it comes to a football team or it comes to life, that they just focus on one individual, and that's themselves. And there's a select few that are willing to look beyond. And, today we've talked a lot about Coach Bowden and that approach. I mean, a life that is lived by service, the serving others. And you see Dylan, who's a newcomer into the program, you talk about the right fit. You talk about what we're looking for. He's a young man that has talent on the field, but he also has talent off of it, and I think that was a tremendous example of it.
Coach, I'm not sure if you addressed this already, but when you look back at some of the UCF Memphis games, and I'm sure they were heartbreakers for you, and that gentleman over there certainly played a great part in this. Was that part of the appeal in ultimately his recruitment and where he is today?
A pretty good understanding of who he is, the talent that he has, and so that definitely played a role into it. But excited about the opportunity. This is a new opportunity for him. It's a new opportunity for us, and I definitely cherish the opportunity to get to coach him each and every day. Outstanding.